What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Seema. How are you? I hope you're doing very well. I love you so much, always. And I actually was reading out here. It's raining. I'm in my car. I'm reading. I like to come out here to like meditate and walk and read and film sometimes and just chill out. And I wanted to film for you guys a little bit of what I'm reading. So I'm reading the Gita. And if you guys don't know what the Gita is, I'm going to tell you very briefly. And essentially, the Gita is a book, obviously, and it is a Vedic text in a way, and it has been made really simple. It's been simplified in an American version, and it looks like this. It has other versions as well that have different like covers, and essentially the Gita is God's song. That's what it translates to. So Bhagavad Gita basically means Bhagavad, which is Bhagavan, which is God in Sanskrit, even Hindi, and Gita means song in Sanskrit and Hindi. So basically, I just wanted to share with you what I've been reading. The whole premise of the Gita, I read this all the time. I grew up with this, and I'm still growing up with it. The whole premise of the Gita is Krishna speaking to Arjuna, who is his friend. Krishna, if you don't know, it was a person. He actually walked the earth, and he was a prince, and then he later on became a king. So the entire premise of the book is Krishna discussing to Arjuna the importance of duty, or the importance of doing your duty or your dharma. So everybody has dharma in life. There are many different types of dharma. But dharma is not the thing that is easy. It's the thing that you must do. It's a duty. So like, let's say you're a parent, then your dharma is to be a parent, a very good parent, or like as good as you can do, you know? Everybody has different dharmic paths and purposes. So basically Arjuna, his friend, has to fight this huge battle, okay? And you can actually like see it illustrated on the cover. He has to fight this huge battle, and he doesn't want to, but he has to, because he is living in a dynasty in which he's living in a dynasty that is opposing his friends and family. So he has to literally fight his friends and family. So he's nervous about this. He doesn't want to do this. He's scared. He's bewildered. All he has is his friend, which is Krishna, his best friend. And they have their chariot, and they're in the middle. He's in the middle because he doesn't want to go. He just does not want to go to his side, because he knows that he's going to have to fight. So Krishna, his best friend, who is the incarnation of God on this planet, is advising him to do your duty. And so the entire book is Krishna discussing to Arjuna major truths of life, different truths that we maybe don't know, or that we may have forgotten as human beings. Like, what is the true nature of death? What is death really, you know? And then what is life, you know? What is life actually? What's the point of human life? What's the point of animal life, you know? It talks about health in different ways, like mental health and emotional health and regulation. It talks about spiritual evolution. So there are many different important topics and questions that Krishna answers throughout the Gita. So in this video, I'm going to be discussing some of them, okay? We're going to go through them, some of them. So what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to actually close the book from where I was reading. And for you, this may be a message for you. So I'm going to close the book, and then we're going to flip to a random page, and then we're going to start discussion from there. So this is completely up to chance, whatever you need to hear right now, whatever is important for you. All right? So let's do this. Okay. Wow. Lit. Okay. Page 210 of the Gita as it is by Srila Prabhupada, verse 35, chapter 4. Having obtained real knowledge from a self-realized soul, you will never again fall into such illusion. For by this knowledge, you will see that all living beings are but a part of the Supreme, or in other words, that they are mine. Having obtained real knowledge from a self-realized soul. Not fake knowledge, not fake news, right? But like real knowledge from a self-realized soul, from an evolved soul, from a guru, or an advisor, or somebody who knows what universal truth is, then you'll never forget the answers. You'll never forget these truths, and you'll never fall into illusion, like the illusion of separation, which is envy, which manifests first as envy, or the illusion of death being the end, the final end, things like that. So Krishna is saying that you'll never again be bewildered if you accept real knowledge. If you obtain real knowledge from a self-realized soul, then you'll never fall into illusion, because you have obtained this true knowledge, this pure knowledge. And then you will see that all living beings are but a part of the Supreme, or in other words, they are mine. And then Krishna capitalizes the M in mine. So now we're going to read the purport. The result of receiving knowledge from a self-realized soul, or one who knows things as they are, which is what I said, is learning that all living beings are parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. The sense of an existence separate from Krishna is called Maya, M-A with a line over it, Y, and then another A. And then it actually gives the definition of Maya. So Ma means not. And then ya means this. So ma ya, right? Let's separate the word conjugally. So ma means not. And then ya is this. So not this that is true, not this that is real, not this that is this, right? But everything that is not this. So illusion, right? That is what Maya is. Maya is illusion. Things that are temporary. And by the way, Maya is Krishna's illusory form. So it's still Krishna, but it's just Krishna being not Krishna, you see? So that's why we start to associate ourselves with like our ego and our body and like the things that happen to us in our lives, because we think that we are these things. We think that we are our molded personality or the conditionings that we've been under, but we're not. We're the eternal soul. And so we are already automatically always tied to Krishna, to the Supreme, but we just have forgotten this. So we think that we are like the flesh, but like we're not. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're not, because like one day I'm gonna shed my body, you're gonna shed your body, we're all gonna pass away, past the body, but we're still gonna be there in some different form. This is what the spirit soul is, and that's who you are. You are not your fingers or toes, etc., right? So this sense of existence separate from Krishna is called Maya. Some think that we have nothing to do with Krishna, that Krishna is only a great historical personality, and that the Absolute is the impersonal Brahman, right? Like I was saying, Krishna was a prince, but some people think that he was just a prince, right? So some people think he's just a great historical personality, and that the Absolute is the impersonal Brahman. Actually, it's the personal Brahman. Absolute is capitalized, the A is capitalized. And when we say absolute, we're referring back to Krishna. So some people think that he's impersonal, like God is like the universe that doesn't have a form or a shape or an identity or personality, but that's not true. He does, and he is a person. Factually, it is stated as it is stated in the Gita, this impersonal Brahman is the personal effulgence of Krishna. Like I said, the personal effulgence of Krishna. Krishna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the cause of everything. The cause, okay? In the Brahma Samhita, it is clearly stated that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes. Even the millions of incarnations are only his different expansions. You understand? They're all him. Similarly, the living entities are also expansions of Krishna. You and I are both expansions of Krishna in different ways. We have different karma that we are playing out, but we are still expansions of Krishna individually. The Mayavadi philosophers wrongly think that Krishna loses his own separate existence in his many expansions. That's not true. That's not correct. How can he lose himself? He is God, right? The Mayavadi philosophers wrongly think that Krishna loses his own separate existence in his many expansions. He doesn't. He keeps his original identity in whatever he's expanding into. This thought is material in nature. Why? Because it's confining. It does not give justice to who Krishna is. It doesn't explain or describe who Krishna is. Krishna is not limited or finite in any way. He can retain his true original personal form, while still taking many, many, many existences, many, many expansions. We have experience, this thought is material in nature. We have experience in the material world that a thing, when fragmentally distributed, loses its own original identity through loss, through erosion, through wastage. But the Mayavadi philosophers fail to understand that absolute means that 1 + 1 is equal to 1, and that 1 - 1 is also equal to 1. Why? Because the whole definition of absolute, which is what God is that he retains himself. There is no energy wastage. There's no loss. In the same way that energy can never be created nor destroyed, God is this energy. That God is the definition of the fact that energy can never be created nor destroyed. So God is that, God is how energy moves, you see. God is that principle of physics that energy is never created nor destroyed. He's the actual action of the flowing of energy. He is both the current and the currency and the medium for which the current is flowing through, and the whole action of the current being able to flow, and the circumstances, everything. So, but the Mayavadi philosophers fail to understand that absolute means 1 + 1 is equal to 1, okay? And 1 - 1 is also equal to 1. This is the definition of absoluteness, okay? Or infinity, right? Which is God. This is the case in the absolute world, not in the material world. Here in the material world, we decay, we age. I got cut off a little bit. I am continuing from where I got cut off. So, here we go. That is the case in the absolute world. For want of sufficient knowledge in the absolute science, for want of sufficient knowledge in the absolute science, we are now covered with illusion, and therefore we think that we are separate from Krishna. Although we are separated parts of Krishna, we are nevertheless not different from him. The bodily difference of the living entities is Maya, or not actual fact. We are all meant to satisfy Krishna. By Maya alone, or illusion alone, Arjuna thought that the temporary bodily relationship with his kinsmen was more important than his eternal spiritual relationship with Krishna. The whole teaching of the Gita, I just talked about this, is targeted towards this end, that a living being, as Krishna's eternal servitor, cannot be separated from Krishna, and his sense of being an identity apart from Krishna is called Maya. So that's what the whole Gita is discussing and describing. That is the point of the Gita, that a living being as Krishna's eternal devotee cannot be separated from Krishna, right? And that his sense of being an identity that is like apart from Krishna is what is Maya. When we think that we're separate from God, we are living in illusion. We are living within illusion. So basically, yes, that is the whole premise of the Gita. And like, Arjuna was just really conflicted because obviously, like, you know, he was associating himself with like his team, his kinsmen, the people that were like even the ones he had to fight against, like his family and whatnot. But when you in life have to do things alone, and you are forced to do them alone, you will understand that all you need is God. All you need is God. You will get that. So the whole book is Arjuna trying to understand that, you know, it's fine if I have to fight my family and friends because God is on my side. This is very hard to understand because most people will be like, why would I fight my family and friends? Why would I go against them? You know what I mean? Like, yes, I have this duty and I have this dharma and I'm part of this kingdom and dynasty and I've been put in this situation now where I kind of have to do this difficult thing, but they're my family. Like, I'm just gonna not, you know, I'm just not gonna do my duty. Most people will think that way. But the thing about duty is that it's never easy. Actually, it's seldom easy. It's seldom really easy to do your duty. It's often hard to do any duty that you have to do. It's difficult. That's the point of Dharma. Dharma is not easy. Dharma is you constantly fighting against yourself. that I have been raised to think in this way, societally and even materially. I have been conditioned to think that I'm the body, or that I must protect what I have been protecting so far, or that I owe certain people loyalty and they owe me loyalty. No, your loyalty is to God. Your loyalty is to what God is putting on you that you have to do in this lifetime. Your loyalty is towards your dharma, which is tied into God's plan and purpose for you. This may not be easy to understand unless you are aware of who you are and aware of what God wants for you, right? Like, for example, I'm here on YouTube making this video. Why? Why am I doing this? Because it has been aligned for me, right? I know that I have to, in a way. Even with my YouTube videos, I know I have to. Primitive example. I would rather not use me as an example. Let's use Arjuna as an example. He had to do it. There was no other way. When God is telling you, trust me, it's going to be scary, but you have to close your eyes and trust me. That is what you have to do. This whole book is describing what faith is. Faith is difficult. It's not easy to have faith. Faith is the hardest thing to have. But without faith, man is lost. Without faith, people are lost because they're putting, first of all, it's impossible not to have faith. You have to have faith in something. So people usually have faith in things like money, things like material success, things like anything that is tangible that may reflect something that they want. Some people, because people want stuff, right? Because people are conditioned to want things. But if we were raised in a society where we were conditioned to evolve spiritually, and that was our primary inclination, then our desires would be different, right? Our consciousness would be different. And so because our consciousness is different, our desires would be different. So in the same way, we must understand that everything around this is conditioning. Even being in the body is conditioning. And we are always thinking that, not God. We are thinking not God. We are thinking that God, we don't even think of God. We don't even think of God. And if we do, we think of religion, which is man-made dogmatic bullshit. It is. Okay? Different kinds of religion actually all say the same thing. But if you just take religion for face value, you're going to lose the point of religion. Religion is isolation, and it's personal development of that relationship with Source. It is not impressing other people. It is not social functioning. You know what I mean? It's individual, personal cultivation of a relationship with your creator. That's what religion is. True religion. So, yes, we walk around thinking that, we don't even think of God. We think of everything except God. We think of our money, our property, how we look, our ego, everything like that. And these things, they chain us to this false conception of who we are. They chain us to this false ideology of ourselves. They chain us to a lie, because we're not these things. We are eternally connected to Source. We are eternally in a relationship with Source. And the second that we forget this, we start thinking the way Arjuna is thinking, with no faith. We start thinking in a way that, hey, I'm alone. You know what I mean? I have to do this thing that's really difficult. Everything in life is difficult. Everything in life is difficult. This is why the Gita is the most therapeutic book, because it is showing you, Krishna's talking to us. We are Arjuna. We are Arjuna. We have to face these difficult battles. We have to do things alone. Life is hard. You know what I mean? Things will happen to us. We can't ever really trust anybody to understand us, because we are meant to understand ourselves. We are not supposed to expect anyone else to understand us, number one. And then number two, we're not supposed to understand anyone else. We are supposed to be on the path of self-understanding and self-realization. And again, that cultivation of that personal relationship with Source. That is what we're here to do. And the second that we expect other people to treat us special or treat us a certain way just because of our accolades, or even the opposite. Maybe you have issues with self-esteem that are the opposite, like negative self-esteem, right? Maybe you have depression. Whatever is there that is imbalanced, because there are many types of imbalances, whether it's overly something or under something. Whatever your imbalance is, understand that your life will reflect that imbalance unless you correct that imbalance within you. And the way to correct any imbalance within yourself is to go within. It's to go within and to Try to see who you are. And once you see who you are, you will find God. You will see that God is here too. And you will understand your eternal, personal relationship with him. Okay? So this is something that is really important for people to understand, because this has nothing to do with anything that you have learned before. Okay? So yeah. So back to the text. All right. So this sense of being an identity apart from Krishna is called Maya. The living entity as separate parts and parcels of the Supreme, which we are separate parts and parcels of the Supreme, have a purpose to fulfill. We have a purpose to fulfill. Having forgotten that purpose since time immemorial, they are situated in different bodies as men, animals, demigods, etc. Such bodily influences arise from forgetfulness of the transcendental service of the Lord, of the Lord within each person's heart. But when one is engaged in transcendental service through Krishna consciousness, one becomes at once liberated from this illusion. One can acquire such pure knowledge only from the bona fide spiritual master, and thereby avoid the delusion that the living entity is equal to Krishna. We're not, okay? In any way. Perfect knowledge is that the Supreme Soul, Krishna, is the supreme shelter for all living entities. Shelter, okay? All right? We are under his shelter. We are always under his shelter. Now, when you wake up and realize that, then you begin to actually take
2 white cups and I got that drink. It could be purple, it could be pink. Pain in the night, you mix that itch. Money that we got till we get that itch. 'Cause I'm on one. Yeah.